Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Soteros Phil Brucato, aka Satyr. I prefer Satyr in conversation. I am the co-creator and primary author for 27 years now of Mage The Ascension. And I'm going to be kind of doing a very basic introduction to Mage, and we're going to be running through a very basic scenario. My friend's over here. And introduce yourselves, say who you're playing or what you'd like to get out of this session. No? Okay.
I am Alicia. I'll be playing Rainy, and I'm excited to play another session of a game system that I haven't got to play before.
Okay, cool, thank you.
My name is Matt, and not creatively, I'll be playing Matthias. And I am same. I'm actually just really excited to learn another system here that I probably would never have had an opportunity to learn.
Cool, thank you.
Hi, I'm Karis, and I'm playing Olam, and I'm also excited to learn I'm excited to learn anything, especially this, so glad to be here to do this.
Okay. I don't want to put anybody on the spot.
All right, I'm Vicky, and I will be playing Tova, and I'm really excited to learn this. I've kind of gotten excited creating the character and looking forward to it.
Cool, thank you.
And I'm Matt, and I'm playing Paul, and I'm just looking forward to learning more new game systems.
Cool, thank you. And so for a very brief introduction, which I was summing up a little bit before we went live, but very brief introduction. Mage the Ascension is a game about empowerment. In it, your characters are people who have the power to rework reality, and a big part of Mage is figuring out figuring out what you can do, how you can do it, and maybe whether or not you should do it at all. Because one of the things that you learn as a mage is that the things that you do to the rest of the world or do with the rest of the world come back to you as well. You affect the world affects you, and everything is kind of interrelated. The conflict dynamic within Mage is between a number of different factions of people who control reality and feel that they should have that they should dictate what reality looks like for everybody. Some of them want to convert the rest of the world to believing as they do. Other ones just want the rest of humanity to shut the fuck up and do what they're told and let the elite folks handle it. These various different factions have disagreements that range from philosophical discussions to blowing up streets or more. And the backstory on Mage can get really, really complex and elaborate, so we're not going to deal with that today. My recommendation, especially for people who are new to Mage, is to just start with the people, because at the core of everything involving Mage is about people. People who have the power to change the reality around them and the responsibility to do it well. Otherwise, they bring disaster upon themselves and everybody around them. As part of the world of darkness, Mage is a dark satire on the world, at least in the world as we see it. And though certain World of Darkness games like Vampire the Masquerade take place on a street level game, and Mage can take place on a street level game, that's more or less what we'll be doing today. Mage can get really, really wild and metaphysical, and you could find yourself, chasing Martian prince, chasing a Martian prince down from your spaceship. We're not going to do that today. The core of Mage characters' really ability to change the world is a trait called arte, which is a measure of their enlightened will and their ability to affect things with what are called the spheres. I'll get into that in a minute. But the more a mage character has faced conflicts within themselves and conquered internal obstacles, the further up they go in arete and the more they're able to accomplish. whether or not they accomplish those things with a subtle hand or with a kind of extreme or vulgar hand depends really on the mage and depends on the player and the player's choices. Essentially, what you want to do is you want to do things as often as possible in a subtle way that people will accept as, oh yeah, sure, that could happen, as opposed to, and now I throw my fireball down Main Street and blow things up because I'm a wizard, ha ha ha, in which case reality will go, yeah, no, you're not. So because in magic is an extension of the mage rather than as a list of spells that you learn and mechanical effects that you have in combat. Every mage does magic a little bit differently, and the way that that's shown in terms of the game and both role play and the system is through the 9 spheres. Each sphere has, actually here, I'll just show you a character sheet. Each sphere has 5 dots, and each dot measures the amount of control that a mage has with that sphere. They're going to start with one dot is perception. The mage begins to understand how the sphere works. It's at the second dot, sphere 2, the mage begins to establish a little bit of control around existing elements of that sphere. Mage at sphere 3, the mage begins to exert further and further control and affect other bodies and affect materials in a really noticeable way. At the dot 4, sphere 4, the mage is able to start doing fairly drastic things with that sphere, whatever that sphere is. And at sphere 5, the 5th dot, that's mastery, essentially godlike power at that point. There are further spheres rumored to exist, but I don't like incorporating them into the game because then it just gets stupid. The 9 spheres are correspondence, which is the mage's perception of how the world is interconnected. It allows people to reach through spaces, perceive the space around them, see distant places, possibly travel to distant places, and at the highest level of mastery, to fold places up and say, everything is one place, ha ha ha. Entropy, which is the control of, yes. Okay, sure, I can do that. Oh yeah, okay. So before we get started, does anybody have any questions? Okay. So as I'd sent out to the players, for anyone who's watching this, I'd sent out to the players, each of the characters is at a festival called Catastrophe, a desert festival similar to Burning Man. They're at Catastrophe. All of them have been there for a little short period of time. None of them have met before now. It was a great party until you woke up. It's true, it was, you had a great time, but there was something a little off. You could perceive that there was kind of the proverbial disturbance in the force that had been kind of prickling at the back of your scalp before things went black. You were doing whatever it was that you were doing at the time. It's night. You might have been dancing. You might have been trying to sleep over the thunder of the electronic music that goes 24/7 at this festival. Maybe you were just kind of staring at the stars, but now you find yourself standing in the middle of the desert, far, far away from where you were, far away from the hexagon rather, which is the camp that the festival takes place in. You can see the lights sort of through a haze. You can feel the pulse of the electronic music, but it's muted and slower rather than the rapid beat that you've kind of come to expect and kind of just become part of the background over your time at Catastrophe. It's suddenly become much lower. like the world's heartbeat, but an agitated heartbeat, one that's definitely not at rest. And as you try to get your bearings, you recognize that you're standing with several people who you might have seen in passing, but you've never met before. And the lights and the sounds seem very, very far away. The air is full of mist or smoke, maybe ash. Not quite sure. And it's chilly, colder than you're used to, and colder definitely than you were a few moments ago. And if you were dancing or otherwise engaged, the sweat from your activity is evaporating very coldly on your skin. And your hair kind of rises up into shivers as you look out from this place you've never been to the place you were with these 5 people you've never met. What do you do?
Rainy oddly looks around, and as the sweat is still kind of dripping off of her body and then going away, her chills become a little bit more active, and she looks to her left, and then she looks to her right, and her eyes get really big as she's confused how she got here.
Cool. Thank you. Anyone else do anything?
Matthias would probably just sink back a little bit further away from the group. Initially, I guess, attempting to analyze, see what's going on a little bit more.
Okay.
Tova would close her eyes and just kind of tune into herself, and then expand her consciousness onto the area around her and just kind of see what she senses.
Okay.
Olam is, looking around, trying to get nice and, trying to warm up. Also, looking at everybody else with a little bit of skepticism, and trying to figure out, well, who are they? Knowing that, that they've been seen at the festival kind of around, but since, Olam doesn't know them, it's a little standoffish.
Cool. Thank you.
Paul would have probably the complete opposite reaction. In a world of everything that happens, he's kind of well, it's all got to be good somehow. So he tries to make eye contact with at least one person. And if he can, then he'd try and go and shake their hand, like the 2-hand clasp shake, if he can reach whoever he can first.
Rainy will make eye contact with Paul.
He'd shake hands. He's like, "Hi, I'm Paul. It's very nice to meet you. Who are you?" And not let go of the handshake until he gets your name.
She's like, I guess, shaking back and holding on oddly, and says, hi, I'm Rainy. Like, how did you get here? And like, how did I get here? What are we doing out here?
Well, I hope we figure this out, but I mean, isn't it exciting though, a little bit? We're still out in nature and experiencing all of this together. I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like the whole point, but like, I don't know why we're not dancing anymore. It's just confusing.
I think Paul would instinctively start dancing just to try and like ease up things.
Cool. So
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. So what do when people when folks look at you, what do they see?
Rainy's wearing a very flowing sun-like dress, short straps, more of a white khaki color, very light, and it's probably got little daisies around it. And she's not wearing shoes. Her feet are probably very dirty and gross, but she looks put together for where she is. She's got a little scarf around her head.
Cool.
Olam has dreadlocks, and they're very big dreadlocks, and some of them are rainbow colored, and wearing everything tight. For somebody who doesn't like people to really look at them or to be like totally like you would stare at Olam. I'm just saying, even at a festival, could there be any more tie dye? So, a big tie dye like, Joseph Technicolor, dream coat kind of coat, and tie dye kind of a harem pants with a big combat boots like Doc Marten boots, lots of jingly jewelry, and a kind of captain's rainbow cap with goggles.
Cool.
So Matthias sort of coming out of the mist, sensing that there's no danger really. You sort of see this somewhat tall guy, long blonde hair, envious of what I want in life, with a band t-shirt on with very ripped and tattered jeans. Probably white Converse though on his feet, and he's got the very long sort of wallet chain on the side.
Oh, thank you. Did Vicky or Matthew?
So Tova is an average height, maybe a little bit tall. She's about 5'8". She's got long black hair with that kind of shimmers, it has like purple and blue shimmery things. Like when you look at a blackbird, how they have that different colors in them. On the right side, it's kind of a fade, and then she's got raven feathers braided in on the left side. She's wearing black jeans with knee-high leather boots, and she's wearing a rich purple silk shirt with a black leathered duster.
Cool. Nice. Thank you.
Paul's got a short curly black hair, in like a really flowy white shirt, as much as it's white can be at this point in time, and probably some really loose bell-bottom pants. Also, no shoes, because he's just, as much as he can, digging his feet into the ground to just feel as connected as he can.
Good plan. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, and what you feel, especially all of you, but especially the ones who are barefoot, are feeling like a warm pulse vibrating upward through the earth, which feels, for the as chilly as the air around you, feels kind of unusual. It's like it's the warmest, the kind of the warmest part of your surroundings. And as you're all taking stock of yourselves and each other, you hear a kind of a sibilant, not precisely gendered voice say, "So this is what I have to work with. I suppose you'll do. Well, thank you, I suppose. Well, really. I should be more gracious. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing in this space with us. Thank you for bringing all the wonders that you can bring. I find myself strangely needing to ask your help. Now, I confess this is odd because, well, there are, as we can see, so many people, but you are special, more so than most. I can sense that much, or else you wouldn't be here. But I have a problem, and, well, I would like if you could help me rectify this problem before more people are hurt. You see, I am catastrophe. I am the spirit of this place. Wherever this place is where I am, whether it be in the forests of the Appalachians, or as we now find ourselves in the deserts of this, I think you call it Nevada, I'm not certain. I am wherever we are for the time that catastrophe exists. You are part of me, and you've come to share in what I am. And most of those who come here bring joy, sometimes fear, and sometimes a sadness that I hope to help them purge. But others come to prey on those who have come seeking transcendence, and they seek only to take, only to steal for themselves. And this I cannot allow. But because I am all of this and yet none of this, I cannot act against them in a body unless I was to create a true catastrophe, the likes of which none would survive. Clearly, I do not want that. So I must ask, can you help me?
Rainey looks at Paul and makes eye contact with him and very outwardly and excitedly says, did you hear that? And are like, you gonna do it? Cause I wanna do it.
Paul looks, I don't see anything wrong here. I think it's, he just kind of like shrugs, like, I guess so. I mean, we're here for a purpose. This must be it. No one else is
And
talking to us.
maybe it's the drugs. I mean, like, I don't really know, but if you heard it and I heard it, then clearly I'm not crazy. She's just looking around like, where the hell did that come from?
Oh, I assure you, you are not mad, except for the joyful madness that we all share
Well, then hell yeah, let's go.
Paul's like, I am a little bit mad. Like, he kind of nod, like in his head, he's like, yeah, well, you don't know what I'm thinking right now.
No, I do not wish to keep any of you against your wills. So if there are those of you who are reluctant, well, I will gladly accept the help from those who are eager. And if not, well,
What is it? What task would you have us do?
there is a place, a temple, not the main temple, the temple of memory, but a place that calls itself Tranquility Grove. And they pretend to bring tranquility. What they do instead is they take and take and take until the people who are there no longer desire anything else. And there's a brief ripple in the night, of almost like a shimmering wave of the dust that clears just ever slightly around one area of the hexagon. Tranquility Grove can be found there. I will lead you to it if you wish. Those of you who would prefer to return, I can send you back to where you were and continue.
I'm kind of curious how we all got here out of the gazillions of people that are back at the festival. How is it that the four of us are here together?
there is a shine about you. You have powers, all of you, whether you acknowledge them or not. They're different in certain ways, in ways that I can sense, even if others cannot. There are, of course, many people here with many, many talents and many insights, but you five, stronger than most, except for those who I need to pacify before they become stronger. For with the power of that which they take from others, they have built something, someone, who would perhaps rival even me in the influence of this place. And that influence, I assure you, would most certainly not be good. The air grows colder around you. The dust seems to swirl a bit more. You definitely get the impression that there's a whole lot more than what you're being told. Because suddenly we went from, oh, hi, could you please help me with this problem, to, oh, look, there's actually somebody moving in on my turf. Will you fucking kill him for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Olam is nervously smoking their CBD vape pen at this point. Just like sucking that sucker in and puffing it out, and like, you know, it's yeah, a little, yeah, just trying to figure it all out and trying to figure out how to get to know the other people. Just you know, their total social awkwardness is kind of getting in the way of figuring out how to get to know the others.
One of the things that any of you who have, actually, I believe all of you have at least one dot in mind and spirit. Something that each of you who has a dot or more in either mind or spirit is noticing that the other four folks with you are glowing. Some of you glowing more brightly than others, but all of you are glowing. Some of you are surrounded by a glowing shape that's larger and more distinct than the physical person around them. And you've also begun to realize that where you are is not though you are physically in touch with the earth, where you are is not where you currently are, it does not occupy physical space. You are, for those of you who have traveled to the spirit realms, or at least the penumbra before, you are in the what is frequently called the penumbra, the space, kind of the spirit skin that divides the mortal material world from the deeper, further reaches of the three spirit realms. So what you perceive here is real, but more real on some levels than physical reality itself. And as you bring your senses closer and closer into alignment with this, you notice that your senses are starting to kind of blend together, that you're combined, by your powers combined, that you are sensing further and further out into this mist and recognizing that it is swirling with entities. Entities that feel like maybe living human spirits, and entities that feel like no longer living human spirits, and quite a few entities out there that are clearly not human at all.
And the one that was speaking to us?
Mm-hmm. That entity is not remotely human.
Right.
And in the area where that had you had sensed that that faint shimmer, the more that you look toward that area, and the deeper that you sink into the sensations of this place, the more you realize that that place, that brighter place, is pulsating with that heartbeat, but it grows brighter and brighter and brighter in a way that is clearly not electric light. You can begin to sense its pulse, not pumping against you, but pulling from you as if it's drawing energy from you. And this is where we're going to bring in perception plus awareness. Perception is a mental trait. Awareness is a talent. And essentially what this does, perception obviously helps you perceive. Awareness helps you perceive and understand things that most, the average mortal person can't. So what you're doing here is you're going to take one die for every dot that you have in perception, and one die for every dot that you have in awareness. And please roll those dice. We have a difficulty, which is the target number. Roll those dice, please, in a difficulty of 6. You got 4, cool. And any die that is 6 or higher count as a success.
Wow. 0.
I got
Oh,
one.
well, 2, cool. Thank you. 4, oh, you're totally going to get the whole impression. Alicia?
1.
1, cool. Okay, so everybody but Matthew senses that there seems to be not just a light, but a figure much, much taller than a person, probably 30, 40, maybe feet high, composed of mist and light, sort of hovering, almost dancing over that spot that became clearer in the mist. Matthew, because you got 4 successes, what you see is a dancing woman, almost like a belly dancer. If a belly dancer the size of King Kong, swirling scarves, not just around herself, but around the area of the camps, the various different camps surrounding her. The core of the area where she's standing is like a pulsating a cool blue. The light is rising up into her, but as she swirls the scarves, it's drawing these really faint tendrils from every place that the scarves reach out over. And the scarves grow longer and longer, and then they grow short. She wraps them around herself and then swings them out, and they grow longer. And there is, who here has at least 1 dot in the prime sphere? 2, 5. Oh, you've got 5. Okay.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
no.
2.
I have 2.
Okay, cool. So everybody who has the prime sphere recognizes that there is life energy, the prime, key, quintessence, whatever it is, whatever name that you think of it as. Basically, what this pulse is pulling life energy slightly from you very strongly in that area that's been indicated toward you. What you sense in the mist around you also has a definite energy feel to it, but it's an unearthly, not biological sense of energy. It's a kind of a collection, coalescing of different forms of energies, human and other, but mostly natural, animal, elemental. Yes. Oh, I thought had you signaled? Okay. So essentially, that's what you see. That's what you sense. What do you do?
I want Rainy wants to head towards the energy that's pulling her, and she would probably hop and skip and like twirl her way through this energetic pull, and then like grabbing out to Paul and like playing like the air string and pulling him in, and like galloping towards that energetic magnet.
Cool. Thank you. Paul, what do you do?
Yeah, Paul probably doesn't see anything wrong with what's going on. He just sees an energy doing something. He just follows suit.
Okay.
Matthias will sort of like follow them, but from behind, not necessarily engaging right away.
Okay.
Being sneaky about it, so to speak.
Good plan. I mean, it's certainly a danger. Whatever this is feels like it certainly feels like a dangerous situation. Caution is a good plan.
I'd like to if I can sort of see like a thicker mist that's around us, kind of like move in between those.
Okay. So yeah, as you move into the kind of the darker areas, pulling off a little bit from the others, you feel the kind of the caress of sand, which you're very not sand, rather dust, which you've grown very used to after a few days at Catastrophe. But this time, that dust seems to almost like have fingers, millions of fingers, uh, sweeping across you. Not in a disturbing caress sort of way, except that it's a little disconcerting, even so, because there's a kind of a sense of hunger here.
I'll sort of mutter to myself, yeah, this is not good. And then shiver a little bit.
It's definitely shiver worthy.
I've wrapped my Technicolor coat kind of a little bit tighter around myself as I'm following everybody else and reaching in my pockets to figure out what kind of MacGyverish kind of thing I can pull out and make to sort of be a protection for myself.
Mm-hmm. That's excuse me. That's a good plan. So you have the items that are listed on your under your possessions, or rather gear, are the things that you are currently carrying on you. Every character that you have has a section for possessions and one for gear. The gear, show this for the folks who are watching this. Gear carried is what everybody showed up with, rather, out here in the middle of nowhere. The possessions are useful items that are back at camp. And especially for the reality hacker here, you might want to go back to camp because you found that you don't actually have a lot of stuff on you, other than all of you have LED lights and dust masks, and except for I think there was one person who's playing the witch again, Matthias. You don't actually need a light because you can see.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, you see more because, if I recall correctly, you've got the dark sight merit.
So how do
I have
so
night sight.
Night sight, sorry. Yeah, night
okay.
sight.
Okay.
So yeah, you can see just fine without the light. In fact, if anything, the lights in the camp have been kind of disturbing how bright they are at night. This actually, for as disconcerting as the dust feels right now, you're feeling a little less sensorially overwhelmed than you usually do at this camp. So it's actually, or rather at this festival. So you actually feel kind of like, I don't know, maybe I want to stay here, but there's a go there, but it's kind of creepy here. But oh shit. Sorry, Karis, what you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, if so for Alam, since I don't know everybody, I'm just now gonna like be my very wicked sense of humor self and say, hey guys, I'm out. Well, actually, I'm not out. I'm gonna go back to camp, and I have all this like rad stuff in my car. It's not here. And it might be really helpful for us to figure out what to do with this essence that's sort of dragging all the energy kind of from us, to be able to pull some of these things together. I noticed that the energy is dancing, and well, like I am a techno musician. Like I just rock it. Like you guys heard me at the festival, I'm sure. I'm just saying, you know who I am. You probably do, but you're pretending like you don't. But anyway, why don't I, does anybody want to, I don't want to go back to the car by myself. Does anybody want to come to the car with me to help me grab some of my gear?
I'll go, but I want to have like your album for free when we get out of here. So yeah, I'll go, but I'm gonna need your tunes in my head.
Yeah, we'll play the tunes. Matter of fact, like I have my little headphones on here, and see these right here, like I can actually flip it so that the sound comes out of my headphones. So while we're going back until we get closer to the hexagram, like we can like be like jamming to the tunes. And then I'll sign a CD for you too.
I am so in. Let's go.
Right. Let's go.
I will follow along, but she's going to take off her necklace and wrap it around her wrist and just kind of use it like a divining tool, just out of habit, right?
Okay, cool. What are you trying to find?
Trying to do a little clairvoyance, just get a sense of the area, what's going on, what am I sensing?
Okay, cool. Since you have a bit of foresight power there, thanks to in part your tie to Raven, and from a game perspective, two dots rather in the sphere of time, which allows you to roll. What's your arete is 3, correct?
My what?
Your arete. Yes.
Yes, it's 3.
So yeah, since you are sensing, which is a very subtle act of magic, it's not stirring up anything. Nobody can go, oh my God, she's using magic. So please roll 3 dice with a difficulty of 4, and anything that is 4 or higher, please let me know how what you get, how many of those you get.
3.
Cool. Okay, you got All right, so you're gonna get like treated the whole vision here. As you close your eyes and have your conversation with dear Raven, what the fuck am I walking into here? What you see is the interior of kind of a a tent. Seems to be made up out of large tapestries and then hung with smaller tapestries, which are patterned in Hindu mudra. Not mudras, yantras, those really ornate patterns. There are rugs and pillows and things all along the floor of this, and it looks like a chill camp. A very nice, low lit. Really blue, green, cool lights and some candles here and there, and there are several dozen people laying sprawled. Many of them in puppy piles, curled up with each other. Some of them off by themselves, curled up around themselves, or sprawled out in the, sprawled out on the rug. And you can see several people. One of whom is kind of a short, kind of short, curvaceous woman with really long curly hair, and a skirt and no top, tattoos all along her shoulders and her back, and she's talking to 2 people. One of them's a very muscular woman, who's a little bit shorter than the woman in the skirt, but is very, very, very cut. Also has a few tattoos, but not nearly as many. Short hair buzzed to the back, and a very eerie looking tall man, kind of dressed almost in warrior, road warrior garb. And she's talking to both of them. She's got her hands on both of them, and she's holding them as if there's definitely an intimate connection between the 3 of them. And they're talking, but you can't hear what they're saying. There are several other people who seem to be dressed in a similar fashion to the woman in the center, who are whispering to people who are on the ground. There's a woman who's gently shaking a tambourine, very. There's a low pulse of chill techno music coming through there, and what you're seeing as you watch this scene is several people who are not you and not your group walking in there, and the first woman I described in the center going, and they come in, and she's like gesturing them down and is making the very effusive gestures to them, and doing what you probably, you're a shot, you would have seen people do. It's called a heart salutation, where she takes her hand and places it, after going kind of doing a, if they reach forward, she takes their hand, places her hand over their heart, puts, places their hand, places her hand on their partner and their hand over one of them, and goes, and shows them over to a space on the ground. And then your vision seems, as you're very, very used to this happening, your vision seems to sweep up to one corner and then takes wing and flies as if you were a raven. Okay, so that's what you sense. And in the background, as your group starts to walk toward the back toward the hexagon, you hear that voice that introduced you to this place before. Thank you. I appreciate and would be very, very appreciative of anything and all things that you can do. And I assure you that if and when you need me, I will be there with all of you. Because that's not sinister or anything, no.
That one was a little creepy.
Okay, so all of you for a while, since I guess you're still all traveling together, at least for the moment, do you start discussing a plan of action, or who's going to go where or with whom?
I'm headed to the car with Olam.
Okay.
I'm headed to the car.
Are we gonna stay together?
I kind of think that's best.
Right. So go get our equipment.
And then let's do this and get it over with.
I don't have a lot of equipment to even get, so I'm just going with you into Olam's like amazing jams. I don't really have anything. I don't need my drugs. It's fine. That's really all I have at the tent.
I probably don't need my shrine. Maybe. Yes. I don't know. Maybe I should. I'll just get it anyways. Okay. I'll just get it anyways.
Yeah, you may want to check in, because definitely you know, I mean, it's at this point it's pretty plain to everybody that what you're dealing with here are definitely metaphysical entities.
Mm-hmm.
That
Metaphysical entities like drugs?
Actually, you're not wrong. One of the things in Mage is that Mage is also, depending on your perspective on how you view the world, Mage can be animistic. And actually, spirits of drugs do exist in Mage, kind of incarnations of and archetypal figures based on the popular mythology around certain drugs. How people...
I'll get my drugs.
Okay. Get your drugs.
In my professional life, like I can never say that. Like, and I don't do drugs, so it's so funny to be like, Brady's gonna pick up her drugs.
Just a quick question. As a and maybe I'm taking it too loosely, as like a feral pagan, would I have a shrine to a particular god, or?
Well, it depends on whether or not you want to have a particular god, but more than likely, your god is nature itself.
Okay.
Your god is the spirit of the wild.
Okay.
And so shrines, churches, books, those are for people. You don't need that. Your
You're
god
getting
is your
cranky.
god is in yourself and all around you.
The voice
I
is
knew-
getting cranky.
I knew I knew I picked the witch for a reason. Okay. I like that.
So as you all move closer and closer, walking through the dust, and as I said, the mist, dust, smoke, cold thing around you has definitely sort of receded in a path toward this place, toward your destination. It's definitely thicker around you, but you're still going through what feels like a cold dust storm with a little bit of not quite physical touch, but definitely more than just the feeling of particles swirling against your skin and clothes. And so you, after a while, unless you have anything else that you want to discuss or talk, want to discuss with each other, you reach the outskirts, and as you probably notice, the music of the camp grows louder and louder, and the that heartbeat thump that you had sensed initially recedes beneath the feel of the techno music and the beat that not only vibrates up through your soles and your shoes, but kind of begins to beat against your skin as you emerge from the dust and out into the the outlying fringes of the hexagon itself. Now, as Alicia's background shows, the city, such as it is laid out in tents, camps, buildings, temporary buildings, structures, and things with 6 lines running through them toward the center. The center is where the Temple of Memory is constructed. And on the final night of the festival, which are still two nights away from, on the final night of the festival, there's a gathering at the Temple of Memory where people bring things that they wish to either immortalize or wipe from their memory, and then they lay them into the Temple of Memory, and then the Temple of Memory is set on fire. The place that you're coming in from is up around into this fringe. You've got the roads leading inward. Karis, your camp is kind of over here. Where you're actually over here. I can see that now. Over here where your goodies are parked. So you'll need to kind of go through to get to other camps and things to get to it. This area over here on the map indicates where the Tranquility Grove is located. So to get to your camp, you're either going to need to go around, either go through that area past the Tranquility Grove, or go to one of the longer roads and take that in toward the center. What do you want to do?
So, Alicia, your character name again is Rainy, is that right? You seriously
Yes,
have no
ma'am.
drugs? Because all I got is the CBD. I know I'm the smart drug person, but but
I
if we're gonna go do something, I want to
I have like some amazing stuff in my tent that I got from somebody at the last event I went to, and so if we want to go over by my place, I'll grab them and we could share them, and then we'll share them also in case some crazy stuff goes on.
Well, I'm
But
getting
it's a lot
sense.
more than that CBD pen. So I
Yeah,
hope you're
I'm sure it
prepared.
is. I'm not prepared. That's not my jam. But I thought for a moment it would be to give me some courage. But I've got this very smart phone. I don't know how smart it is, but maybe it's smart enough that actually when I open it, it can help us to kind of get from point A to point B in the fastest way, meaning going through Tranquility Grove in a way that we don't get sucked into uh, some of the stuff that is in there. I'm trying to read what was in there. Yeah.
You can totally do that.
Okay.
Yep, you can easily chart a path that gets you from point A to point B without having to go through point energy demon.
Yeah, so I'll let the smartphone do that. I don't even have to think about it. I just open the smartphone, tell it where I want to go, show it on the downloaded app of the festival space, and it does that for me. Does that for us because it's just not me by myself.
Mm-hmm. Do you think well, let's see. Just real quickly, did Matthew and Vicky, did you all, and Alicia, because you've all had different senses here, have you shared with the rest of your companions here what you've seen or sensed?
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't. Did I see something already?
That's right.
I'm lost in the sauce because I just been listening to everybody else, but I don't think I had a vision yet.
Okay.
I'm too she's way too out there. She hasn't done anything except felt the thumping and listened to grandma get angry. Sounds like she reminds Rainey of her grandma who's cranky all the time.
So this is what I'm doing here, since we're also talking about how to run games. A lot of games masters will make really, really elaborate character sheets and books full of notes and things like that. My experience from having run games since 1979 is that the minute that you plan out something really elaborate, your players will completely fuck it up. And so what I tend to do is I improvise. I make basically note cards, and I'm going to show you all what the notes are and so forth. But I make note cards with the information for the characters that I need to have, for the NPCs, non-player characters that I need to have, but essentially run the rest of it by improvisation. I've got a background in theater, so improvisational theater is kind of been my thing for a long time. It's easier to do it if you have experience with it. There is a section in Mage 20, chapter 7, which gives several pages worth of suggestions for how to improvise as much as possible with Mage, because although Mage 20th anniversary is this thick, you don't actually need all this. And I personally, when I'm running or playing in a game, I like to keep rules as simple and light and free flowing as possible, because one of the things that folks who have played in really elaborate gaming systems know is you can get bogged down for hours and hours and hours in rules minutia, charts, graphs, and arguments. As a gamer and as a game master, I prefer to just avoid all of that. Keep the absolute basics that I need on a set of note cards. I also have my GM screen here, although I don't generally need to consult it because I wrote the damn thing. But these collections of charts that are put into quick and easy format can generally run a game just with that, as long as you know what the system is and what it does. In times, for the folks who are watching us, at times that we need to use magical effects, magical spells, we're just going to be working with, from the Mage The Ascension Quick Start, going to be working with the common sphere effects chart, because Mage is freeform, but running a freeform game of Mage or playing in a freeform game of Mage takes experience and more time than we've got. Speaking of time that we've got, Andrew, or Anthony, sorry, Tony, how are we doing? An hour. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, so that, like I said, from a game master perspective, I personally favor short, easy to refer to resources and running just off the top of my head, responding to what everybody does. Something I don't know if y'all have covered it really quickly, but reading your audience and looking back and forth to see reading people's expressions, body language, and so forth is a really helpful GM skill as well in whatever game it is you're running. And you can run your game according to that. One of the absolute pitfalls in gaming is when somebody will just drone on and on and on and on about something while everybody gets really restless and starts looking at their phone. So with all that in mind, you have found a quick and easy way to get back to your camp. And it also, what's your intelligence? How many dogs do you have in it? Oh, your mic is off. 3?
3.
Cool.
Yeah, so
roll roll 3 dice with a difficulty of 4, please.
okay. I got a 10, a 5, and a 1.
Oh, cool. Okay. So, yeah, the one success will do it. It occurs to you, you could probably look up the Tranquility Grove and see who the fuck you're dealing with.
I could do that on my app. I mean, on my very, very smartphone.
Yep.
That I've actually tripped out myself. I totally forgot I hacked my own shit. It's like, duh. So
Yep.
that's why my phone is so damn smart, right? So I go ahead and of course I don't Google, I don't Yahoo, I Olam. That's kind of a sacred
I love it. You have your own app.
so I Olam on my very smartphone. Tranquility Grove inhabitants to kind of get a sense of what that's all about.
Cool. Oh, and briefly, something else your very smartphone can do is you can unlock your car from here, because basically you've got an art car that's kind of like almost vault sealed, so nobody can steal your shit when you're not there. But you can unlock it with your phone from a distance.
So that's better than a Tesla, right?
Yeah.
Just checking. Okay.
I want to put all my things in Olam's car.
Good plan. So, what you're able to find, because there is. Let's see. There is actually a website for the Tranquility Grove. And greetings and welcome to Tranquility Grove. Our priestess Irene would love to welcome you when you feel depleted, and if you are feeling in any way challenged by the great emotional stresses that might be triggered when you come forth into catastrophe or from the world surrounding you, that you should come and be healed, and we will present a safe space with low lights and the soothing presence of myself and our facilitators, who make it for a very comfortable stay for you. And it mentions the facilitators as Fiasco, which is a strange name for somebody in a safe space of tranquility, but Fiasco is kind of a rather dashing looking, very pretty man with a goatee and short black hair, kind of grinning with almost like a piratical grin. And Fox, who is a very young, early 20s woman with very, very long, thick, curly dark hair, of olive skin, large dark eyes, a kind of an enigmatic smile, and a fox fur worn over one shoulder. Tash, who is a short but very, very cut woman with a few tattoos here and there, leaning against in the photograph on the website. She's leaning against a wall with an expression that's kind of half welcoming and half challenging. And then there's this tall shadow who's not really pictured so much as suggested, and underneath it just says train wreck. And in very flowery prose, especially for a website, it goes on to talk about how these are the practitioners of the sacred arts of Inanna. That this is a stop in. This is how did I phrase it? This is the way station between the mortal world and the underworld, where hope and compassion will soothe away all of your cares and bring you out into a restoration of new and glorious, vigorous life. And the website is set up just prettily enough that some people might actually believe that.
Can Rainy be like looking over Olam's shoulder while he's doing this and we're walking? Because I'm very confused as to why he's diddling on his phone.
Yep, yeah, you can totally do that.
I think it's real, and I'm very blown away by this frou-frou website that this human has. I'm very shocked.
And I have a very sort of sarcastic wit. I'm just like, this is bullshit. I mean, the names, come on. There's nothing restorative there. We gotta like go right past this stuff. Like siren, yeah, kind of go ahead, like pull us in with that siren caca and get us all like, you know, all doped up and relaxed. And no, that's not the kind of relaxy taxi I'm interested in. We need to keep on moving.
I share the vision that I saw.
Cool. Good plan. Okay, how do you do that? What do you do?
I just tell them.
Okay. Cool. Because you could let me check I'm pretty sure that your character could probably just like lay your hands on them or something and say, "Let me show you what I've seen."
Oh, well, that's on all of them.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you're the shaman. You could totally do that.
Okay.
You could say, let me show you what I've seen, or you could, ask Raven, hey, would you please, and no tricks this time, please show them what you just showed me, dude, or however it is that you would like to do that. Oh, kitty.
I want to just show them what I saw, and let's say to you, let me show you what was shown to me.
Cool.
And lay my hands. Or let's hold hands.
That works, yeah. Everybody, and basically everybody
hold hands, and I'll show you what I saw.
Okay.
Is there any
Rainy's
similarity?
gonna grab hands.
I'm gonna because I don't like touching either. I'm just, I've had some shit happen in my life, so I don't like being touched. I'm like skittish of people, so I'll just kind of like put my shoulder, my elbow out.
Okay,
yeah. Matthias is the same way. He's kind of like not really into this too much.
Yeah,
and he's only holding one hand.
Oh, Paul's like interlocking fingers. He's all for it.
Yes, me and Paul all day.
Matthias is doing social distancing before it was cool.
Yeah, and one of the things, Matthias, one of the things that you've noticed, because of course you have sharper senses than many people, and being on some levels, more closer to your animal nature, you're very aware of smells, even more so than many people. And that's at some points gets really overwhelming at catastrophe, just how many strange and sometimes enticing and sometimes really not enticing smells there are. There's a smell, a scent. It's a smell coming from the Tranquility Grove. That is, you're used to the dust, and you're used to the pot, and you're used to the alcohol and the sweat and the diesel fuel, but the fire spinner fuel, the kerosene that people use in fire spinning. There's a kind of a leafy green, cool, kind of foresty smell coming from the grove that does not at all fit in with the surroundings. It smells like forest over there.
I almost like run towards it.
Cool. Okay.
That's something that I'm like, in this type of environment, I am dying to like just experience a little bit more. So I'm running towards that smell in an almost animalistic type way.
Cool. Okay, so Matthias is now running toward the camp. So we got three of you are touching in, are
Sharing the
touching
vision.
interlocked, and you're sharing a vision. And Karis, you're looking at your phone, and Matthias just can't. I'm sorry. Olam is looking at their phone, and blanking on the Matthias just went loping toward the camp, toward Tranquility Grove, and so all of you who are still have your eyes open are noticing that as you're kind of standing on the fringes here, you see the usual people kind of crossing between camps and dancing and making out, and some people who are just kind of sitting or laying in the dust, cradling themselves, and others who are getting drunk, getting stoned, and so forth on their own. You see a couple, or maybe it's more than two people. Actually, it looks like it might be three people, but one of them keeps wavering in and out, arguing in increasingly loud but still indistinct voices with each other. And you all again are hovering on the kind of the outskirts. The kind of the people are around you ish on the fringes, and Matthias just went running for the grove. So what do the rest of you do?
Okay, did they already see the vision?
Yeah. Trying to think. Paul and what's your character's name again? I don't have it written.
Rainy.
Rainy. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing the elbow thing, so I got like, even though I wasn't holding hands.
Yeah, you all got that vision of what I described earlier with the all of that, and one of the things that you all notice with all of those people, but especially with the woman who's doing all of that stuff, is she is really intensely charismatic. Like, if you could see her aura, which you really can't in this vision, but you have this sense that if you could see her aura, it would be like crackling. She's got that kind of magnetism where when she talks to people, when in the vision, when you see the people come in and she goes over to them, you just see them go like, not like they're suddenly bespelled, but like, oh, wow, you're so cool. And it seems that as kind of over the top as what she's doing looks to you, that it's clearly doing whatever it's meant to do with the people who come in. They definitely they seem, from the body language, they seem to trust her intimately and immediately, and that seems to be just more than just I'm pretty now. It's magnetic. Meanwhile, speaking of magnetism, you go loping through, Matthias. You go loping through the crowds, kind of brushing against people, and you're like, dude, and stuff. As you pass, you're not really paying any attention to them, and you run through and past various different people and structures until you reach the edge of this green place, and it feels welcoming and natural and cool, not in the cold way that you felt out on the playa, but the sort of embrace of the wild that you've been craving. And as you walk in, there's the scent of trees and earth rushes in and overwhelms you, even though there are no trees you can see and no earth beneath your feet. It's carpets and not carpets rather, but rugs and throws and pillows and stuff. But if you close your eyes, you'd swear you were standing in the middle of an actual forest. And the sense of relief washes over you, and the tension that you had felt slips away. And what is your willpower? It's here on your sheet. It is
Under
right
the arte.
there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Okay, 6. Yeah, you're just like, I'm home, and you just kind of fall forward, and not fall forward, but just relax. You'd been holding all of this tension with this strange, scary place with these weird people you'd never met before, and suddenly you're home. And do you have your eyes open or closed?
No, my eyes would be closed, and I'm gonna take it one step further. I'm just gonna roll around.
Cool. Okay. You go and you roll around, and even though your skin tells you that you're rolling around on soft carpets and pillows and things, your soul says you are rolling around in the forest. And it feels
I love it. I'm here for this.
wonderful. Cool. So the rest of you have seen, received Raven's vision. What do you do? And when you come out of the vision, you notice that the that kind of feral Matthias guy is gone.
First, is there any similarities between the perception I made with whatever the vision I just saw? Are they similar beings? The one that was enticing with the ribbons versus the one that was leading them in?
Oh, what you saw? Oh, the vision that you saw from Raven.
Right. Are they similar?
They're similar-ish. The woman that you saw, the tall woman with the scarves, did not look like the woman who was
Okay.
in the division. In fact, they're very different. The the woman with the scarves seemed to be very like tall and slender, and whirling the scarves around almost like smoke. Uh, the woman in the vision seems to be kind of short, broad-shouldered, very curvaceous, with a very thick, long hair. Has kind of just a very lush Earth Mother vibe to her, whereas the woman that you saw with the scarves almost seemed to be made of smoke.
I think I think Paul would kind of give a check to make sure everyone's here, because there's a lot of people around. And I'm like, well, I was holding Rainey's hand, so I know she's right here. And kind of pick up that someone's missing. I'm not sure how much we gave introductions to ourselves at this point. I just know Rainey's name for sure. I'm like, is it someone not here? I think, didn't we have 5?
Matthias is missing.
But Matthias took off.
We should probably find him. Yeah, should we ask someone where he went?
Well, you see in the path between where you're standing and where the Temple of Tranquility, or the Grove, sorry, the Grove of Tranquility is, you see a number of people who are just kind of looking like, what the hell? What's that? dude, and one of them kind of turns to y'all and says, "The fuck is up with your problem, man? What the fuck is what the fuck is your friend's problem, man?"
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he just like spilled my beer. You know, that's not cool. You just like ask. I mean, this guy just kind of just charged through here. You know, he wasn't. You know, just be careful where you're going. Okay, just tell him to chill.
Which way did he go?
Over there, and you know, he gestures over there, and some of the other people are like that weird like wild dude, just like caveman guy, just ran over that way.
Thank
And
you.
one of them says, she's like, he needs to chill. Yeah, he needs some tranquility, is what she says. And
Does.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get you a beer as soon as we go find him. We'll settle up with you to replenish your beer. And thank you. Hopefully, he doesn't wander off ever again.
Okay, cool, thanks. Just don't chill out a bit, okay? Okay, so is anybody going to the Grove, or are you all going to Olam's camp first?
I mean, I want to go to the Grove and find out what's going on there, but if we need to get drugs and stuff, then I guess we need to get drugs and stuff.
Well,
I'd feel more comfortable if I had my stuff, because I don't know what is really reality and what is the reality that someone wants, and how you're being pulled into the reality you want versus the reality that's the reality. But my gear will help me understand that a little bit better.
exactly. Well, and the rest of you have the stuff that you have. I mean, you know, Rainey, you've got some drugs with you. You can always go get more. uh,
Oh, I thought because it says at camp, I don't have them on me. But if I have drugs on me, I'll gladly pass them out.
yeah, you've got like a joint or two or something on you, and also you can also. So we were talking earlier, or rather, I mentioned earlier, didn't really get to go into earlier, but practice, or another practice rather, but focus. Focus is how you do your magic, and in Mage 20, a mage, every mage's focus is a little bit different, because the focus is based on what that person believes about the things they can do, how the practice, the activity, the disciplines that they use to do what they do, and then there's instruments, which is the tools they use to do what they do. Like Irene, in your case, your tools are dance and drugs and exertion and sex and eye contact, and contact with the earth. With Olam, your instruments are computers and devices, and sound and music, and your instrument, the musical instruments that you use. Matthias has fang claws, also movement, hunting, and so forth. Each of you have those things listed on your character sheets. So far, all of you, one of the things that the reason we haven't even had to bring this up yet is because all of you have been intuitively doing that with your characters already, which is exactly what I want, and exactly what the best way to do mage is, to look at those and treat those that focus as something that flows from and is an innate part of your character. So, you know, you were Vicky, Tova was doing the necklace and conjuring, closing her eyes to bring in the vision from Raven. So yeah, you're already doing it. What I was saying here is, you could go back to your camp and get some, go back to your camp and get some drugs, or you could just close your eyes and dance, and focus in on the feel of the earth and the pulse of the music. And Olam, you're definitely going to want your gear. So you're heading back over to go get the gear. What are the rest of you doing? Who's going where?
I'm gonna follow him still, but I'm just like feeling it. I'm not going to my camp, just to his car.
Cool.
I look at Toba and wonder if which way should we go? Should we go find the one that disappeared, or is it better to stay as a party?
Your mic is muted.
I think we stay as a party, but we hurry. I already have all my stuff. I'm gonna
Yep.
get in my pockets and whatnot. I don't need anything. If he needs his equipment, let's go get that and go find our feral dude.
Okay. So y'all head off toward Olam's camp to go get the stuff. And Olam, you have already turned off the locks and started turning on the systems so that when you get there, your car will be ready to go.
Well, I've done one better than that, actually. So not only did I kind of unlock the car, but the car can go about 15 feet without a driver. So I've
Cool.
called the car to come with me because I've got the beacon in the key.
Mm-hmm.
So the car is coming toward us so that we don't have to go as far to get to the car. So that makes our trip quicker
Yes.
to help our feral friend.
Cool.
Our feral friend? Oh. Sorry, Matthias.
He
All
grows
good.
on you. So meanwhile, back in the Grove, Matthias, yeah, you're just kind of sinking into bliss here, and you're feeling this wonderful, comforting wash of home and cool breeze caressing across your skin and your hair, which is a total contrast to that gritty, creepy feeling of those dust fingers out there in the dark. And as you feel yourself kind of gradually sinking into the soil and the grass against your skin and the breeze and the trickling of a nearby stream, slow dream of running free away from all of this. So you'll see the art car kind of edging its way through the crowd, like this, salute the car and stuff. And then a couple of people right go, dude. The rest of you reach the car, or all reach the car. And what does your art car look like? Your microphone's off.
Sorry about that. It's because it's kind of
Cool.
You see it? Okay. That,
Speakers.
yeah. It's vibrating, and because it's like it's synced to my headphones, and so my headphones are going. Rainy is like grooving to the tunes, and the car is like rocking. It's totally rocking. Yeah.
Cool. And
everybody's bowing down to the car too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
This is a festival, so they're like, oh, yeah.
That car's so cool. And just when you go up to it, your people are like, that car's fucking awesome, man. That is so cool, and stuff. And so there's only room for one other person. Do the rest of you want to ride on it or walk beside it, or what do you want to do? I mean, it's a festival. Getting on the car and just riding is perfectly natural as long as Olam doesn't have a problem with you sitting on his car.
I want to ride on the hood if Olam doesn't care. I just want to feel it all. That sounds weird. I just want to sit there and soak up all the energy.
And I pull Rainy into the car too, riding on the car. So I do Rainy. Everybody else can kind of as we drive towards we'll get Matthias.
Cool. As you edge in through the crowd, all of you roll one die for each dot in your willpower, and roll that against the difficulty of 7. So anything that is 7 or higher.
Two.
Okay, cool. 2, 3. Yeah, okay, you already lost this.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. And Tova, did you get any? Your microphone's off. Okay, cool. So all of you, except for Matthias, all of you are like, yeah, that's a tent. Yeah, there's people around that tent. Yeah, it just looks like a typical chill tent, and it feels kind of welcoming, but it's a tent, And the closer you get, especially for you, Olam and Paul, you're kind of like, it's cute and everything, but it's also really kind of cheesy. It's not quite insulting, but it's definitely really woo. And this whole festival is woo, but there's just something really almost like borderline obnoxious about how woo this place is. And your card, and what is your music? What type of music are you playing? What kind of...
So right now I'm booming from Parliament Funkadelic.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Like maybe One Nation Under a Groove or something.
All right.
You don't have it.
Do in fact have it.
Okay, cool.
I'm loving this right now.
I can't hear it.
Can you hear it? So yeah, the chill and tranquility of Tranquility Grove is suddenly being overridden by Funkadelic. And you see that woman that you'd seen from the vision starts to come out along with the kind of big road warrior looking dude and the muscular woman kind of start to just walk out to see why there's suddenly this music intruding on their tranquility. And Matthias, make a willpower roll, difficulty 6.
How are you supposed to dance to this kind of music?
Any way you want.
Okay, cool. You start through that breeze and through that breeze and tranquility and stuff. You start to hear this. And the impression of being in the woods starts to slip away, and you begin to realize you're sensing two totally different things at once. And that shakes you out of the illusion of being in the forest, you can still feel it in your soul, but suddenly the physical sensations around you feel much stronger. And that's when you realize, oh, you're laying on a rug surrounded by a bunch of people who are, curled up, cuddling, passed out. A few of them are making out, and so forth. And there's a short woman, the person who I described earlier as Fox, with a fox skin over one shoulder and stuff. She's leaning over you, going, "No, it's okay. Go back to sleep. It's all right. You're safe here."
It's, uh,
What do you do?
okay. Sort of getting out of the trance. Okay, no, not where I want to be. I'm good. I just get up and not run, but I thank and walk out slowly yet awkwardly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Do I see the car? Is it close?
You see the car. It's like kind of, you come to the entrance and you see the car, and the road warrior looking guy and the muscular woman and the other woman who is obviously in charge of all of this are talking with the people that you came to. And what the rest of you hear and see is that they come up, Cyrena and Cyrena and Tash, and that's probably Trainwreck, are all kind of like looking at you, and Cyrena comes up. I thank you for the gift of your music, but this is the Temple of Tranquility, and I invite you to please take the music to another place that might be more enjoyable for the spirits, that you obviously bring fun and joy with you, but I need to ask you to please move forward away from our temple, because this is a sacred space, and the people who are here to escape the noise of the rest of the crowd. So could you please do that? And as she's saying this, you're kind of feeling a push against you. Not like a push, but a mental push. What is your willpower?
Matthias?
No, Elam's.
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. 4. Wait, let me
4
make sure that's right. Wait,
I don't think it's 4.
you're talking about this one, right?
No, it's, yeah. Willpower.
Yeah, I have
It should be
5
at
dots
least
there.
5.
Yeah, I have 5.
Okay.
5 dots.
Oh, she's. Yeah, no. No, bitch.
Oh, wait, I read bitches. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no. She just tried to fuck with your head.
Oh, okay.
From a mechanical standpoint, what just happened is Cyrena tried to use a Mind 3 effect to get her, to get Ilham to take the car elsewhere, and got no successes. So no, not only did she fail, but you felt her fail.
I'm so sorry. It makes me feel a little bad. Not too bad, but a little bad. A little bad. Yeah. This is tranquil. This is tranquil. You know, this is our groove thing.
He's just old. It's okay.
So what are the rest of you doing?
I'm
I
just
think
dancing.
Paul would try and once again make that like nice eye contact, like really too friendly of a handshake.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, but don't you understand that the whole earth around us is holy and tranquil? I don't think you need some kind of tent in order to do it. Yeah, music, but music's all around us all the time. We don't need. And can I see inside the tent at all a little bit or no?
Oh yeah, you can see inside the tent.
We don't need pillows and rugs in order to feel the way we do. It's about enjoying the ground, getting your feet dirty.
Yes. Yes.
So why don't you embrace us instead of we trying to embrace you?
Yes.
Cool. Are you trying to put anything behind that, or are you just talking to them? I mean, you are a really charismatic person, as I recall.
Yeah, he's got a foreign charisma. I don't know. He's got a spark of I'm not sure with his merits. He's got a spark of life or
Okay.
sanctity or blazing aura. I don't know if any of those would apply in that nature.
Okay. Yeah. First of all, they are really paying attention to you. They're like paying a lot of attention to you. And as you're talking to them, because you've got, as I recall, high charisma and high expression or etiquette. Basically, you're really good at convincing people. Don't you also have a few dots in mind?
2 dots in mind. Yeah, 3 dots in etiquette.
Okay. So roll one die for every dot you have in charisma or manipulation, whichever is higher. I think it's charisma in your case. And one for every dot that you've got in either expression or etiquette against, say, a difficulty of 6.
4 successes.
Okay, yeah. Um, the woman in charge is like, you're right. That's a wonderful idea. Well, it's all sacred, isn't it? And the two next to her are just kind of looking at her like, what? Tash and Trainwreck are just like, and Trainwreck kind of looks at you and goes, look, I understand that this is like a festival and stuff, and that's really awesome, but I really got to ask you if you'd please move your goddamn car, because, we're trying to have a thing here for people, and we're trying to keep it quiet, and you got the whole fucking desert, so please just, like, move it a little further away, all right?
I think you need to start moving with the beat of this car. Feel it. And then I'll try and like pull Rainey up closer to try and like dance and kind of like enjoy the moment. See if he
Okay.
kind of gets the picture.
Cool. And what are the rest of you doing? And Matthias, you're there with them at this point in the entrance.
Yeah. Is the same woman that Paul just spoke to the same woman that was like telling me like, no, it's okay, go back to sleep? Or is that
No, she's
totally
actually
different?
following you and trying to. She's following you and she's trying to pet you, which suddenly feels really aggravating.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn around and be like, I'm good. Had a moment. I'm gonna try to lie. It was just like a weird trip. I'm good though.
Okay,
I'm good.
cool.
Please stop petting me.
And Tova, what are you doing? You're back off. You're muted.
Yeah. Tova's going to use her expression ability and just talk to the main lady
Okay.
and say, I can see that you're trying to do really good works here. And I really empathize with you. And when I pat her on the back, and as I do, I want to do the detect flaws.
Mhm. Oh, the entropy.
Yeah, entropy.
Okay. All right, and you're looking for what? Are you looking for flaws in her or in flaws in the place around you? What kind of flaws are you looking for?
Well, she's the one that I'm determining as the leader of this little thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to see what her weaknesses are.
Okay. Roll your arete. Let's say difficulty 7. Actually, no, I'm doing that as willpower. That would be a mind thing. So a difficulty 5.
Okay. Okay, I got a 7, a 6, and an 8.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, what you see here in this charismatic, very, very obviously charged person, the core flaw is that she has this really deep insecurity that she craves love. She craves affirmation. And she has surrounded herself with this whole thing in order to convince herself that she is loved and that she's worthwhile and that she's not actually a horrible parasitic loser that she thinks she is.
I'm going to say to her, self-love is where it's at, man.
Well, of course it is. It's we're all loving together here, and you can tell that although you had very although you spoke very few words, you obviously spoke the right words to her. She's obviously kind of swaying with her. When she first came out, she's just kind of like, well, I'm in charge, and this is, and your collective power is kind of overwhelming their resistance to this. And I need to check in really, really quickly with Tony here, because it looks like we have about 15 minutes. Okay. So essentially, what happens is with your with your powers combined, and as you are talking, as you are connecting with her, you feel that presence that you felt out in the desert of infusing you and bringing in the energy and the intention of joy that spirit spoke of. And your spiritual power combined with the four of you, combined with that spirit, combined with the essence that brings catastrophe together every place, wherever it happens to be, whatever happens to be going on at that time, and soothes the people in it and lets them go back out into the world feeling energized again. It's pulsing in through you and out and into both the people in front of you, the leaders of Tranquility Grove, and into the bodies of the people who are who are sleeping and who are cuddling and so forth in the tent, and that the music that the funkadelic the funkadelic soundtrack that you've got begins to swell louder and louder and louder until it sweeps away the illusion of tranquility and replaces it with the reality of the groove. And since Paul, since you had been the one to sense it, you sense that dancing figure start to dissipate into the into the air surrounding the tent, and the people who are sleeping in the tent get up and they start to dance, and everybody is dancing because you have all, and once again, been caught up into the spirit of the groove, and the spell of the grove has been broken and replaced with the groove that you have brought. And we'll leave it there. Thank you, everybody.
I want to keep dancing.
Cool. So in the about 10 minutes or so that we have left, do you have any questions? Anything else that you want to?
Is this a module or is this a one shot that you run on your own?
Oh, it's a one shot it's a one shot. I was originally going to, let me turn off the music here. I was originally going to do a book called The Catastrophe Ballet, but I still haven't written it yet. It's just a, there we go. It's just something that I made up, kind of rooted in some of my own experiences and a whole lot of imagination.
Love it.
And that's when you're creating a game to run for other people. You can, as I said, run from either from a prepared module or make up something that speaks either to you individually as the game master, or with the if you're running a game for a group, you can base your scenarios around the things that your group wants and needs. Or if you're running it in a therapeutic standpoint, or in a therapeutic situation rather, based on what you are hoping and what your client is hoping to get out of the session or sessions. And essentially basing your theme and setting and so forth over what it is that you want to bring to the game.
I like that a lot.
Thank you.
Can you say a little bit?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No,
Can you say a little bit more about because this I wasn't quite sure what to do with merit and flaws. I wasn't quite sure what to do with that.
Yeah, merits and flaws are optional traits that kind of flesh out things other than magic that your character can do. Some of they range from like physical strengths and weaknesses to social, psychological, or as it's phrased in their mental. And I've got a big sidebar in the Book of Secrets, which has the merits and flaws in it. There are only a few of them in the main Mage book. Most of them are in this book because they're like 60,000 words long. But there's a big sidebar in there about neurological conditions and some of the social prejudices about those. But in any case, there are things that can come into and affect the story, but don't necessarily have to, and that aren't directly tied into the spheres or the regular abilities on the character sheet. Thanks. Anybody else?
When
hear me. I was going to say that it really seems like this has the potential to be one of the biggest limiters is how far in your imagination you can kind of pull it from. Is that a fair assessment for this?
How so? The limiters?
Kind of like your limit is yourself as the
oh,
DM.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much
exactly.
Yeah.
There is in Mage 20 chapter 7. There's a section about intimate to epic, and how Mage can be played as anything like just an adventure, or not even an adventure, but like a story between two people on a street or in an alley or in an apartment or something like that. Or it can be as epic as a whole bunch of you go over, go into the deep Umbra to try and save the world. Really, the limits are essentially your imagination and how much time you have to run with it. You could play. I know people who have been playing the same Mage Chronicle for decades with the same characters, growing from initiates into archmasters. Obviously, we couldn't do that today. But yes, there. Anything else? Anything else you want to ask? Anything else you want to know about me, the game, game mastering, running games?
Have you run this one shot before with other people?
No, y'all are the first.
I was curious if others chose a more forceful approach than groove.
That's definitely not the approach I was expecting, which is awesome. See, this is one of the things I love about tabletop RPGs is they're unpredictable. And I actually like that as a games master. Some people don't. But I like video games, but video games are limited by what the program what the program, the technology can facilitate. Tabletop RPGs like this one, the only limit is what people can do with it, and the story can go in any number of different ways. From a game mastering standpoint, from a game mastering perspective, that's one of the reasons why I favor improvisational approach rather than a heavily noted, planned out approach. Linear gaming, you know, where you act one, you do this, act two, they do this, act three, they do this. It's often called railroading your players, and a lot of players don't like it. What I do is I start with a handful of notes and wing it from there based on what the players are doing. And I frequently, especially when I was running games at conventions and so forth, I would come in with a scenario and some pre-generated characters like we've done today. And I'd bring the same scenario and the same characters to different conventions, and it was always played out a different way because everybody brings in something a little different. I referred a couple of days ago, I was talking to some friends, one of whom who wasn't really familiar with RPGs, and I just said, our role-playing games are improvisational theater with math problems. And that's essentially, that's how I look at them anyway. So y'all were awesome. Thank you very much. I love how, especially some of you got really into the characters there, Alicia.
I love it. I love role playing, and this is my second dive into a with your guys's company systems. I went like deep dive into vampire out of nowhere, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So it's great to go right into another genre and not know what I'm doing and just embody what was on paper. And I love it. Theater is was a big part of my life, and this is just, you've given me another outlet today. So thank you for letting me bring Rainy to life.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for doing it. And thank you all. Thank you, Tony, for having me. And thank you for having us.